104.9 Coyote Country. Good morning. It's a Fanboy Friday. My name is Robert Miguel, and checking in with me from Dallas, Texas by phone, professional Q&A moderator and speaker, film critic at bigfanboy.com, and the director at the Dallas Comic Show. Please give it up for Mark Walters, everybody. Good morning.
What is up, my man?
How you doing, sir? You excited? You stoked?
Yeah, the snozberries taste like snozberries. I'm very excited.
Yes. Yeah, I miss Gene. That guy. I tell you what, man, just real quick, let me get this out of the way. I've been talking to a few of our advertisers and listeners here over the last week. Been getting a lot of compliments about your Fanboy Friday segment, man. So I just want to thank you again from all the listeners in Uvalde for just kind of bringing your insights, letting us know what's going on with these movies and stuff, okay?
Well, hey, man, thank you. I appreciate it. It was really cool of you to, we go way back. We've got a history of doing this sort of thing, from your previous employers, and so it was nice that you called me up and said, hey, would you be interested in doing this? And I was like, yeah, man, that's great. I love talking about movies, and I love talking about movies with people like yourself. So it's my pleasure to be here, and I appreciate you thinking of me.
Your
and
insight.
A big thank you to all of them for the nice words.
All right, well, let's get right into this now. Look, I know you've seen the new Super Troopers 2, which opens today. How many years has it been since the original?
Well, it's funny. For some reason in my head, I thought it was like 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And then I went and I looked it up, and I was like, oh, my God, that first movie was in 2001.
Right.
It actually came out in 2001, but I don't think it got like a serious wide release until 2002. So a lot of people didn't even know that it existed. And then, of course, the big fame of that film actually came when it hit home video and DVD. That's when a lot of people really discovered it, and it sort of developed this life of its own. It wasn't necessarily a big hit in theaters, and I think a lot of people may not realize that because it's become such an iconic and beloved comedy through the years that people might have just assumed, oh, well, this must have been a hit when it was in theaters, and that's not the case at all. So it's been 17 years since these guys released that movie. And first and foremost, before I get into talking about the film itself, I got to say, considering it's been 17 years, these guys still look pretty dang good.
Really? All right, good.
Damn. Yeah, they look about the same as they did in the first one. I was really impressed. I guess they've got good genes, all of them. So, but yeah, Super Troopers 2 is it's a movie I was definitely looking forward to. It's also an interesting story because the way these guys made this film, studios did not have a lot of faith in the idea of them making a sequel to a movie that wasn't necessarily a hit in the first place. And so they decided to crowdfund it through Indiegogo, and they crowdfunded asking for $2 million. And I think it was within 24 hours, they got like over $4 million.
Whoa, wow.
Obviously, the fan base was very strong for the idea of a sequel. So I don't know that something like that's ever been done, with maybe the one exception of something like the Veronica Mars movie. But as far as an actual movie making a sequel to a movie, I think this may be the first time we've seen something like this.
Well, that's pretty impressive. So how does it hold up against the original then?
Oh my gosh, it's funny. I had Eric Stolhansky, who plays Rabbit in the movie. I had him at my Dallas Comic Show last September, and Eric was great. He was a lot of fun. He was really good with the fans. And we actually had a chance after the show was over to sit down and have a drink at the bar. And I asked him, I said, so, what can I expect from this? I mean, are you guys happy with it and everything? And, the things that he told me back then, he said they were very happy with it. They were very happy with what came out. But he said the number one thing for them was that they didn't want to just remake the first movie. They wanted to make another movie. They wanted to make it, with the same characters, but they wanted it to just kind of be its own thing and not try to necessarily top the original or rely on some of the same old jokes. I mean, there's callbacks to some of the jokes that you saw in the first movie, but it's not one of those movies where like the whole movie feels like one big in-joke, to where if you hadn't seen the first film, you wouldn't get it.
Oh, okay.
And I appreciated that because I remember thinking to myself when I went into it, I wonder if this is one of those films where like if someone walked into this movie and didn't know the first movie, hadn't seen the first movie, are they going to get it? Like for a good example, like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Mm-hmm.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is a really fun movie for fans, but it's not a fun movie for someone who doesn't really know the Jay and Silent Bob, movie history. Whereas Super Troopers 2, I think you could go watch this film, not really know much about the first movie, and still enjoy it. They did a really good job of kind of paying homage to the original, while at the same time having this be kind of its own standalone film, and works well as that. So, yeah, I was very happy with how they did that. And there's just some really great, funny stuff in there. Some fun cameos that I'm not going to spoil. But there's some, and then there's, like I said, there's great callbacks to the original film. They managed to bring back almost the entire cast from that original film, with the exception of some of the smaller parts. There's just some really funny moments in there, and so I was very happy with it. I would say, I don't know if I would say it's a better movie than the first movie, but I think that it's as satisfying and as funny, if not funnier, than the first movie was. I mean, I found myself laughing really, really hard in this thing, and the audience seemed to be eating it up as well. So, very happy with what they did.
All right, well, very good. That's Super Troopers 2 in theaters today, rated R. And I know you have not screened this next one, but the new Amy Schumer movie, I Feel Pretty, also hits theaters today, rated PG-13.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see this, but I did send one of my writers to it, so we'll have a review up on the site. But I will say that I've spoken to several different critics who did get to check out the screening for it, and most of the feedback that I've been getting so far is actually very, very positive. The one thing that's kind of surprising about this film, and I think may surprise a lot of people, is that, first of all, it's a PG-13 movie. It's not R-rated, and it's Amy Schumer doing PG-13 comedy. So she's kind of toned it down a bit, which honestly I think is probably a good idea, because I think that, some people have felt like she kind of walked that line of being maybe a little too crass or a little too risque. And this is her way of, and again, this is basing all of this on just what I've heard. I haven't actually seen the film, but it seems like this is her way of kind of maturing a bit, and also at the same time kind of responding to a lot of the criticisms and the critics, people that have been responsible for body shaming and making comments about her and her appearance and things like that. I know that this is a movie that she specifically wanted teenage girls to be able to go see it and to be able to, hopefully take something away from it. So we may be seeing a more mature side of Amy Schumer wrapped up in a, kind of outrageous comedy.
Well, my 2 cents is that, it's fitting that it's 420, because I'd have to be high to go to see one of her movies. I'm just not a fan, man. And matter of fact, I even read a couple of articles where some of the feminists, which ironically, she's kind of, a feminist, are bashing the movie, saying that it's kind of doing exactly what it shouldn't be doing. So I didn't read too much into it, but that's just my 2 cents.
Well, she's an acquired taste for sure. I mean, she's certainly, I got to tell you, I wasn't crazy about her when I first saw her, when I was first kind of introduced to her. And I think it was only after I saw Trainwreck, seen some other things that she had done, that I started to think, okay, I kind of get why there's an appeal there. I'm not a huge fan of her stand-up comedy, but, I can get that. But yeah, I know what you mean. There have been some criticisms because it seems to be saying that, her persona in the movie should be considered overweight and unattractive, and yet most women would look at someone like Amy Schumer and say, well, if anything, she should look more like that's what a normal woman looks like,
right.
Instead of saying she's overweight and unattractive. And I get that. I get that criticism, but I do feel like there's probably more to that than what they think there is in the movie. And so that's why I'm kind of holding out and hoping, maybe there is a better message there. So yeah, I'm going to check it out this weekend and see, maybe we can talk about it on next week's show and talk about whether or not it worked, for what it was.
All right, man. Again, that's I Feel Pretty, starring Amy Schumer, in theaters today, rated PG-13. So what else you got for us, Mr. Mark Walters? Anything on bigfanboy.com?
Yeah, we've had some pretty cool trailers hit this week. There's a new trailer for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which really shows a lot of the movie. Like, up until this point, most of what we've seen from the film has been, kind of just little snippets, not really going into a lot of detail, but, just giving us an idea of what to expect. This new trailer actually shows a lot of plot points from the film and really kind of gives you an idea of just exactly what the story is going to be. And there's some interesting stuff going on in there. I mean, the one thing that I was probably most surprised by, just because I wouldn't have expected it in a Jurassic Park, movie, is there's a moment at some point in the film where they're capturing and auctioning off dinosaurs to the highest bidder.
Oh.
And it's like, yeah, no harm can come from that, right?
Wow.
So it should be interesting. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is directed by J.A. Bayona, who directed that incredible movie, The Impossible, about the tsunami. And so I'm very, and he also directed, what's the name of that film? A Monster Calls, or the one that came out like a year or so ago, which I also thought was really well done. So I'm anxious to see what he does with the Jurassic Park franchise.
Yeah, you're right, man. That the Impossible movie, what Naomi Watts and Ewan McGregor? My Lord, that movie was amazing. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it really is. It really is an incredible film, and it's amazing to me how many people did not see it.
Yeah,
As
absolutely.
I remember when I saw it, I thought to myself, well, this is definitely going to be a shoo-in for the Academy Awards, and it didn't really get a lot of attention around that time. So I was kind of upset and surprised by that, but yeah, he's an amazing director, and obviously a lot of people in Hollywood have seen something in him to be able to put him on something like this. So, but yeah, we've got that up there, and we've got some other trailers that people might want to check out. We got a lot of big movies coming up. This is going to be a big movie year, a lot of big summer movies. And so I think we're going to have a lot to talk about in the months to come.
Oh, yeah. In the next few weeks, we'll be talking about Solo. We'll be talking about the new Avengers. We'll be talking about Deadpool 2, I'm sure. So, wow. Lots to look forward to.
Teaser for next week. I'm seeing Avengers. We will be talking about that on next week's show, and I cannot wait. I will do my best to make sure that whatever we say on the show, that we keep it as spoiler-free as possible. But I'm very excited. This has been a long journey coming, 10 years, and I can't wait to see what they do. I think somebody, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and they gave me the absolute best analogy of why they're excited for the Avengers. And they said, it's like when you were a kid and you took all of your action figures out of the play box and you started playing with all of them together. It's like now we're getting a movie that is that. You know, and I was just thinking, oh, that's just so fun. So shout out to Kelly from Zeus Comics for giving me that idea.
All right, man. Well, we're very excited. Everybody go to bigfanboy.com and see what Mark's got online. Once again, let's give it up to professional Q&A moderator and speaker, film critic at bigfanboy.com, and the show director at the Dallas Comics Show. Once again, let's give it up to Mark Walters. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Robert. Have a good weekend.